Lensatic compass, baseplate compass. What's the difference and which one do you need in your kit bag? Is this thing even on? Hey, welcome back to the channel, friends. As always, it is good to see you. So today we're going to break down the differences and the similarities between a Lensatic compass and a baseplate compass. Spoiler alert, they both point to magnetic north. And that's something that we have to remember and keep in our kit bag, that there is a difference between true north, where Santa Claus lives, and magnetic north, where our compasses all point to. And cartographers are going to list the difference on a map and a GM angle, which you'll find in the legend on your map. And it's different everywhere that you go, and it changes from year to year. So just make sure that you stay up to date for your location for the particular year on the map that you're looking at, because it can make all the difference in the world. Hey, and if you want to master your fieldcraft and develop your tactical virtue, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell so you can stay up to date on some future content. And as we get going, leave some comments down below. Let everybody know what your experiences is between the two compasses and which one you prefer, which one you have in your kit bag, any kind of stories you have, because you all provide a depth and clarity to all the viewers who come looking for some information. So first off, we'll start talking about a compass that's near and dear to my heart, and it's probably near and dear to every service member's heart, and that of course is the Lensatic compass. Now, they make a couple different compasses out there. This particular one is the 3H, so it's tritium, and of course they have a phosphorus one as well. There are some other manufacturers who make Lensatic compasses, but I don't know that I would trust them. I think I would only trust the compass. Pull up a baseplate compass here. This particular one is a Brunton True Arc. Not all baseplate compasses are made the same. Some have a mirror on them, and when you have a mirror, it basically turns it into a Lensatic compass. You can use it the same way, and all that does, having a mirror or using the sight wire right there, it enables you to really dial in a very specific azimuth. An azimuth is a direction. Sometimes you may hear it called a bearing. These are all interchangeable words. Now, when you have a Lensatic compass that's open flat, it's basically now a baseplate compass. Compasses are made out of aluminum. They're pretty hard, right? And extremely durable. I can drop it, I can throw it, I can abuse this thing, and it's going to keep ticking. So on both compasses, you're going to have a bezel ring that's going to turn around. And as you can see, you have some numbers in red and some numbers in black on a Lensatic compass. And you're not really going to use mills for land navigation. You're just going to pay attention to the numbers in red. And so probably the biggest difference between the two is, as you can tell, you can't see through the Lensatic compass, but you can see my face through that baseplate compass. And that's what really starts to distinguish the two between each other. With a Lensatic compass, you need a protractor to do most map work, whereas with a baseplate compass, you actually have kind of a protractor built into it. If you want to learn how to use these compasses, I have plenty of videos that'll deep dive you and to show you very specifically how to use each one. Right, so with a good baseplate compass, you can actually preset it. And so what that enables you to do, that GM angle, that difference between true north and magnetic north, you can account for it with your compass. You can't do that with a Lensatic compass. Some compasses are going to take tools. This particular one is a toolless, so you just press in the center and twist until you have it right, whether you're easterly or westerly. And the reason I picked up this particular Brunton one is it has some additional protractor features on it. So I have all my scales on here, 1 to 50, 1 to 25, as well as some civilian different models on here as well, so I can plot some points with it. And so with the Lensatic compass, you can't preset these for the difference between true north and magnetic north like you can with a good baseplate compass. So you have to account for it every single time you start going back and forth between your map and your compass, or compass to map. But what you can do with both compasses is preset an azimuth so that you can maintain your bearing as you're going along your path. Right, so with a Lensatic compass, you're going to keep those illuminating markers lined up on the bezel ring and your north-seeking arrow. With a baseplate compass, you're going to keep red in the shed. And so probably one of the other biggest differences between these two compasses, and it's not one that's often talked about, is the north-seeking arrow. Let's take a look at each one individually a little bit closer. And so on a Lensatic compass, that north-seeking arrow is actually attached to the entire floating dial. As you can see, that whole dial floats. And the housing or the structure of the base plate within a Lensatic compass is not filled, so it's dry. And so what that means is you're not going to have any changes based off of elevation elevation or temperature, it's always going to be reading the same way. You don't have to worry about air bubbles getting in there. On a base plate compass, as you can see, it's just a floating needle. This particular one says it's a global needle, which is important depending on if you go to the southern hemisphere. I haven't had the opportunity to test this one out, so I don't know if that is in fact true or not. But you can see that there is a bubble that is formed in my compass. And all that's going to do, what that means first off, is that this compass is filled. Now, poorly made or poorly constructed baseplate compasses may have water fillings inside. That's why you want to stay away from compasses that are made in China, because you never know what you're going to get. But most decent ones use alcohol. And so what happens when you have a bubble that forms, normally that bubble is going to form because of a change in elevation or a change in temperature. Now, it's not going to make your north-seeking arrow move to south pole as opposed to the North Pole, but it will potentially slow down how fast your reading can end up being, because you know the dial is having to work around that bubble. And so that's definitely a hands down advantage over a baseplate compass by the Lensatic. How are we going to choose which compass is actually better than the other one and which one we want to put into our kit bag? So let's come up with a couple different factors. The first one we'll talk about is cost. So when it comes to cost, the baseplate compass is going to win hands down. I think I spent maybe $35 for this Brunton, and a tritium Kamanga is going to set you back close to $75. When it comes to durability, like I said earlier, the Kamanga is hands down, man. This thing is a brutal beast, and most baseplate compasses aren't even double thickness like this one is, and so they're a little bit weaker in grade. When I actually got this particular Brunton, as I shared earlier, the whole thing had kind of popped out, and it's just not as ruggedized. You know, with a Kamanga compass, you can throw it, you can abuse it, and it's not that big of a deal. How about ease of use? Which one of these guys is gonna come ahead for ease of use? I think a good base plate compass is probably going to win out, because you can set it right on your map. You don't need to use a protractor to determine a direction. Kamangas aren't hard to use, but you do need to use a protractor with it. So the magnetic field is actually pretty weak, and so they're both equally affected by ferro or electromagnetic interference. Items that you may have on your person, like maybe it's a knife, firearm, or other metallic objects, may interfere with your compass. So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to what you have on your person and what is near your compass. On the electro side of the house, if you're in your vehicle, that's no bueno. Being close to power lines is also going to interfere with your compass. Phones, tablets, or computers are going to affect your compasses. Even the presence of another compass will interfere. So you really just need to make sure that you're extremely aware of what's around your compass and what may be interfering with them, because they're both subject to the same things. Now, the entire military trusts the Kamanga Lensatic compass, and the civilian world seems to trust and use the baseplate compass. And so which one is going to beat out the other? Is it the baseplate compass? Is it the Lensatic compass? Which one is it, man? We're putting these things head to head. Which one is better than the other? Which one do you need to put into your kit bag? Which one do I trust the most? And the answer is... I gotta go with the Kamanga, the Lensatic compass, man. The durability, the ruggedness of this thing. I've used this thing for 20 years, over 20 years, probably 22 years, I guess it is. Man, you can't beat it, hands down. I have trusted this thing with my life. I do love my baseplate compass. I love using this thing. But if push came to shove and I could only have one, obviously I have both, but if I could only have one, it would be the Kamanga compass. All right, so there you go. There it is. That's what Stoker thinks, but Stoker's not the end all be all. Leave some comments down below and let us all know which one that you prefer and which one you have in your kit bag. If you enjoyed the content of the video, make sure you leave some comments down below. Make sure you like the video if you haven't already done so, and let's keep this conversation rolling. And as always, until then, we'll see you.